Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to day 2 of the LF Energy Summit 2023. So, first I hope everyone has a great first day, that you had very inspiring breakout sessions, that you had the opportunity to make connections at our sponsor showcase or during the networking reception. Again, before we start, a quick reminder about our event code of conduct. So it's very important that everybody feels welcome and included. So if you have any issues, please report to the staff immediately. And another big thanks to our sponsors, Google and Savoir-Faire Linux. Thanks for them for having made this possible. At RTE, everybody is pleased and even honored to welcome such an attendance. It was great to see that representatives from various horizons came here, discussed, and made all this a vibrant event. So it's a pleasure for us, and we are very happy to have partnered with the LF Energy this year. Today I wanted to share with you a few insights, a few ideas, maybe some takeaways or topics for further discussion. At RTE, our open source journey started early 2018, and this is quite late, actually, compared to many other industries that were more advanced at that time. And actually, our journey started almost the opposite way. Usually, companies come to open source as consumers, and they understand how to consume open source. Then they become contributors. Then they create open source projects, and eventually they become strategic partners with foundations. And back 2018 and even maybe late 2017, when Shuli got in touch with us, she said, okay, let's try to build a foundation for the energy business. And we say, well, interesting, why not? So we were quite naive at that time, in fact, and we just say, okay, let's try. And today, if I look backwards, this was really successful. So we are proud of that. It's successful because today RTE is involved in 7 projects at LF Energy, and these are core business projects. These are projects that are within our transformation roadmap for the future grid. So it's not just like tiny projects at the fringes of the company. And we step in with an approach inspired by probably by Shuli and also by the open source culture that is just start small and soon and learn fast. And actually, this proved to be very successful because in that journey, we learned the benefits of open source. So first, we discovered that open source allows to build cheaper software. And currently, within our projects at LF Energy, at least for 2 of them, we have other partners that are service companies that have developed commercial offers related to those projects. And even yesterday, Savoir-Faire Linux announced publicly that they now have a commercial offer around the CPaaS project. So that's very important for us because that means that we have a win-win situation. We invest into those projects, and our partners invest into those projects, and we share the burden. We also learned that this model helped us to build faster software. Traditionally, we had the choice between, when we have the need, between buying an off-the-shelf solution or rebuilding it from scratch internally. And quite often, we find solutions on the market that fulfill 80% of our needs. So 20% is missing. And there is a dilemma. Should I buy the solution and invest in developing the 20% missing, but then I'm locked in? So if I change the vendor, I need to reinvest to rebuild this part. Or should I reinvent the wheel and start from scratch and build 100%. And with the open source model, at least in 2 occasions, we were able not to reinvent the wheel, but to leverage a massive contribution, existing basis that was provided by third parties. And this allowed us not only to save costs, but to accelerate. And it's not about 10, 20, 30%. It's the order of magnitude is several factors, actually. And we also learned that open source allowed us to build better software. And that is a bit counterintuitive, because usually the projects see the open source framework as constraints. So we have to apply different rules, we have to open our governance, we have to put the decisions and discussions publicly, we have to have some kind of formal processes to make sure that we can onboard third parties, that we have proper documentation, etc. So the first intuition that is this model will jeopardize our short-term goals. We will deliver, it will take more time for us to deliver internally, that we will sacrifice a little bit our internal needs to build the community. And actually, what we observed is that the projects in the medium run, even not in the long run, after a couple of years, the projects that applied the right rules from the open source models are the ones that, even from an internal perspective, are achieving better. So the open source model helped us to improve the quality of the software that we build for ourselves. And this is not surprising, actually, because we hear today about inner source. So what is inner source? It's just taking the right practices of open source and using them internally, because sometimes it works better than the traditional way of doing software. So we have been successful. How it is possible? RT is not a big tech company. RT even does not have strong roots in IT. And back in 2018, we were really newbies in open source. So how can we be successful? And the answer actually is very simple. We are just standing on the shoulders of giants. We are benefiting of more than 20 years of experience from other industries, from the most advanced tech companies that have experienced this open source model in internet, cloud, automotive, finance, etc. So during all those periods, they learned how to master this open source beast, and we are just benefiting from that. If I remember the first conversation that I had with Mike Dolan regarding the governance model, how should it work? Well, Mike just proposed, you should just copy-paste what we have in the LF networking. Okay, let's stop reinventing the wheel. Just copy-paste. So that's also an important message. Just stop reinventing the wheel. So actually, the right question is not whether the open source model will work for our industry or not. It will. I mean, the open source model proved to be very powerful and efficient in many other industries. Are we different from the industries? I have not found any strong argument for that. Are we more secure, reliable? I'm not sure, because all our critical systems rely on open source components. So if those are not secure and reliable, then we have an issue. So the right question is not whether the model will be successful, it's how can we as a company articulate this model with our businesses. And actually, we will have to face transformation for sustainability considerations. And this transformation will be more or less painful depending on how proactive we are. So that's the stake here, is to find a way to be proactive today so that we are ready tomorrow to face those transformations. And of course, this question is different from a software company and from a utility, especially like RT, a monopolistic utility. So I cannot share experience and talk for everyone, but at least in our case, we made this shift. It was not necessarily easy because we had a few cultural transformations to achieve. In a nutshell, maybe two of them. First, cultural shift is to recognize that sharing IP, disseminating IPs through open source licenses does not destroy value. I mean, it does not destroy value. You have to think about also what kind of value it can bring. If sharing IP brings third-party IP, this can create a lot of value. While at the same time, if you just keep your IP internally and you do not monetize that, that's nonsense. And then the other cultural change is to recognize that we need to unlock control to unleash innovation. And that's also a bit counterintuitive, because usually we think that, okay, we are a reliable industry. We need to make sure that the light is on at every second, etc. So we need to control everything. But actually, we realized that when we put our projects in the open community and we unlock this control, the benefit is that we better achieve results for our needs. And that's also an important takeaway. So to summarize, the thoughts today is that first, let's start small, soon, and learn fast, and recognize the values and the benefits of the open source model. But above all, let's stop reinventing the wheel. That's what brings the most value. And then we will, how can I say it? I think I missed, I missed the point, but no worry. So let's stop reinventing the wheel. Maybe I'll find what I wanted to say later. I will stop there because we need to shift to the keynotes.